Hey guys, and welcome to the Bayern View. Hopefully, you guys are all doing well. I'm excited to bring you this one. It's one in the making, and we'll definitely be collaborating again. But we're here for this show. Make sure to smash the thumbs up, hit the subscribe button. We're here with Luke from, I believe it's UTAV. Am I right by saying it?
UTV, up the Villa.
Villa fan channel. It's in the title. If you haven't already, go over there, hit the subscribe button. I'm sure you're going to see me soon over there when we do like preview and so on and so forth. But yeah, we're here. We're doing a look ahead because obviously both of our teams won, which we'll obviously talk about in this, as well as some other stuff. So yeah, smash the thumbs up. Just like Zia says, smash the thumbs up, people. And yeah, man, I'm glad to have you on and welcome to the channel.
Yeah, it's mate, it's chatting to a Bayern Munich fan. Who'd have thought that about 5 years ago, being a Villa fan? But we're here, and yeah, it feels good to be fair. So yeah, loving it.
Yeah, no, man, 100%. Obviously, I get this question all the time, and if some people come over from your channel, they're probably going to be like, well, why? Like, he's speaking perfectly English. Well, kind of. I am English. I'm an English Bayern fan. Iron Robin is the reason why I support Bayern Munich. And then, yeah, we'll go from there. Just to let you know, because I know a lot of people are going to be like, an English Bayern fan? Why is he not speaking German? So yeah, man. But we'll start with the draw as itself. Obviously, we spoke before we went live about the draw. But from the draw itself, what do you make of it?
Yeah, well, I really like the format. I think the format helps probably teams like Villa, teams that are pot 4, pot 3, because it gives you the ability to play teams that are on your level. So, you've got 2 games against teams on your level. The level above is probably not as big as the pot that you guys are coming out of. But yeah, I like the format. I think it just gives us more of a chance. It probably makes it a bit more enjoyable rather than, say, playing Bayern home and away, and then you've got pressure on the next 2 games. So I think that's good. For Villa fans, we haven't been in this competition for 41 years. So, at this level, we haven't been there. Last season, we got into the Conference League and, we enjoyed it. We did well. We grew into it. So, this feels like a big step up. And, for me, I wanted a big team. Bayern Munich, pot 1. And we've got Juventus at home. We've got Bologna at home. We've got Celtic at home. So, 4 massive clubs all at home. And then we go away to Monaco, Bruges. So, yeah, the away games are okay. Probably not as difficult as the home ones. But I think, we're playing good teams. And I think that's especially what I want to do. I want to test ourselves against the very best and enjoy it, because like I say, we haven't been in it for so long. So yeah, let's enjoy it.
Yeah, no, 100%. And like you said it off camera, but just so the people know as well, obviously you said off camera, like, it's good to have the bigger clubs, if you want to say it that way, come into Villa Park, come into your ground, and hopefully you can obviously dispatch them, get a draw or whatever. But on Bayern Munich, or getting Bayern Munich, what do you make of us?
Oh, just a giant, absolute giant in European football. For me, watching Champions League, European football, you are the elite of German football. So the players that you've had in the past, the players that you've got now, your stadium's amazing, and you're just a huge club. But we do have a little bit of history together, don't we? I'm getting it in there early. Bayern Munich fans, 1982. We beat you in the European Cup final, so that's our proudest moment. That's our biggest achievement that we've ever done. So I don't know, is it a bit of fate that we've sort of come together again? Probably. So yeah, but you're a club that obviously you've been fond of, and you've got a player that I really rate and really like, Musiala. I think he's absolutely fantastic. We know about Harry Kane, so yeah, we know what you've got going on there. But like Kimmich and yeah, just some elite players and elite players that you've had in the past as well, like Mr. Robin, like what a player he was.
Yeah, no, 100. I seen as soon as you guys got us, I seen that your the main Villa page put that straight out, which I thought, I was like, you prick. But I get it. You beat us. It's fair enough. But yeah, definitely, it did have to happen again. What do you make of Harry Kane going? Because obviously Villa being an English club, obviously you would have been going against him a lot with Harry Kane. What am I on about? With Tottenham Hotspur, and then obviously he's gone over to Germany. What do you make of that?
I think being a fan of an English team, seeing Kane, I did find it a little bit left field that he went to Bayern Munich, because there was a lot of talk of him going to like Manchester City, and that's where we sort of all thought he was probably going to go to. I think the season that they signed Haaland, there were links with him heavily, and then he went to Bayern, and there's this running thing in English football that like you don't win nothing, and he goes, and the first season that you don't win the league, he's gone there, and it's like it's just mental. But yeah, he's passed 50 goals now.
Yes.
I mean, he's only been there like just over a season, hasn't he? So yeah, he's class, to be fair, and he's going to score many more, isn't he? He's a class act. So I think it was kind of a bit sad to see him leave the Premier League in a way, because, he was hunting down the all-time Premier League record, and he sort of like walked away from that, didn't he? So I guess that just shows what he thinks of that record, that he doesn't really want to get it anyway. But, he's gone to win trophies, and I think this season he's probably going to be the season where he starts to get that silverware.
Yeah, no, well, I hope. After last season, which was terrible, I really, really hope so. But yeah, no, I 100%, I'm with you on that one. Me being an Englishman myself, it was like when Bayern, Pep has that very big saying of when Bayern call, you go. You only get one opportunity to go to a club like Bayern or Real or whatever. So I was a bit iffy with like, are we going to get him? Are we not going to get him? And then obviously Uri Hoeneß, the main guy at our club, one of the higher ups, he was saying that we're going to get him and everything. And then obviously Daniel Levy being as stingy as he is, obviously that's known in the English press and everything. Finally, we got him over the line. And yeah, like you said, he has just absolutely smashed it. And I knew he was going to, because if I know obviously the leagues are different, but if you're scoring 30 goals in a terrible Tottenham team, what's going to happen when you come to a team that's obviously got better players and quote unquote easier league, if you want to say. So yeah, no, he's 100% smashed it. I agree with you on that one. On our games though, we'll start with the Villa game. I believe you won 3-0, if I'm right by saying.
Yeah.
But what was it a good performance? I didn't watch it, so was it a good performance?
Yeah, it was really good, to be fair. One thing that we've learned from being in the Conference League is that in Europe there's not that many easy games. Like the weaker teams can really give you a game, and we were going over their first Champions League game knowing that we've got Bayern next, we've got Juventus to come, that we had to get off to a good start, and we played pretty well, to be fair. Yeah, we played really well, to be fair. We had to adjust to the pitch because the pitch is plastic, and for the first sort of 15 minutes, we really had to like get our sort of like passing game going. And you hear like Man United lost there a couple of years ago. Spurs have lost there, and it's been difficult for a lot of teams to adjust to. But yeah, we just got our rhythm going, and we just played really well. We were like clinical. We had a goal that was disallowed by VAR, which was an handball, and it got disallowed, and we scored again for another one that was handball. So it could have been like 4 or 5. So for our first one away from home, it was pretty pleasing to see, really.
Yeah. I did see the replay. I seen that obviously Tillman's got the first goal. What a player he is, by the way. yeah, the fact that he even went to Leicester and then obviously to you guys, like that, he's a player I would take 1000%. But the main goal I seen was Onana. It was a rocket, wasn't it? If I'm right by saying,
Yeah,
he scored an absolute rocket. So, yeah, man, like you see the name Villa, you without being too much of an idiot, you're just bypassing them, aren't you? Because they're not Real Madrid, they're not all of these big clubs. I hate that word, but big clubs. But looking at your squad, you've actually got a really, really good squad. So it's going to be an interesting game. And then obviously, like we said, off of the off stream, your manager seems to have our number most of the time. So it's going to be an interesting one without a doubt. On just quickly on the Bayern game, we won 9-2. Probably played the worst team in the Champions League at the moment. Just the fact that they even scored those 2 goals is nothing short of a joke, to be honest with you. And we'll get on to obviously previewing the game against Villa in a minute or so. But yeah, we won 9-2. Harry Kane got he's the first player to get a hat-trick out of penalties, which is still bonkers. I believe the other one was he beat Wayne Rooney. Okay, I can't speak tonight. Wayne Rooney's Champions League record, or like all-time English scorer, if you want to say. But yeah, just quickly recap, because obviously everybody on the channel will know. We had 29 shots, 19 on target. Like I said, we scored 9 goals. The 2 goals that they scored was because of our terrible defense, and that's the thing that's scaring me the most. And Zia Talks has just put it in the chat, which we'll talk about in a minute. Is some of your attackers versus our terrible defense. Like if you put it on paper, most teams are taking these 2 defenders, Upamecano and Kim Min Jae, but for some reason they are just like, it's like having a bunch of jesters on the team. They're just not doing what we need them to do, and it's so random as well, because obviously Vincent Kompany being the manager, you'd think him being one of the better defenders, in history, like he could get them going. But yeah, they're just bozos, to be honest with you. It'd be better to, I keep saying it on the streams and that, it would be better to have the Gerd Muller statue outside of the stadium in defense. He'd probably do more, because it's just terrible, generally terrible. But yeah, hey ho, we won 9-2. We're top of the Champions League at this moment in time, I believe, still. But yeah, what do you did you see the replay of us winning 9-2?
Yeah, I saw some of the goals when they started flying in. I switched it on when it got to 3-2, and I thought, this might be quite a good game. And then just the goals start flying in. So yeah, it was just a good watch. But I guess as a fan, knowing that we got to play you, I didn't really want to watch much more, because when them goals kept going in, I was like, oh God, what's coming our way? But yeah, you played well, to be fair.
Yeah, like again, I'm the type of fan that can appreciate the fact that we did win by 9 goals, but also seeing the bigger picture in the fact that we shouldn't have conceded those goals. Again, like I said, we played one of the worst teams in the Champions League, Dynamo Zagreb. Again, no offense to them, but they just weren't as good. And I really want to see with their next games, just quickly, with their next games, I don't know who they have in the Champions League, but I'm wondering I think they got Monaco, Dortmund. I want to see if they smash them as well. If they get smashed by other teams as well, if it was just us. But yeah, going into this game, the thing that's scaring me the most is your players. Ollie Watkins, obviously, powerful player. He's got that speed. Obviously can finish as well. And then obviously you just got a bunch of genuine good players with that manager. Like I said, it's scaring me in the fact that yes, of course we've got Harry Kane, we've got Jamal Musiala, just to name a couple, but all I say as well. But the thing that's scaring me the most is our defense, and if we can, actually step up to the level, because again, it's not in our stadium. You guys don't have to travel over to Germany and and be jet lagged or whatever, even though it's only like 2-hour flight. But you know what I mean. You're playing in the comfort of your own home, if you want to say. So, what do you make of going against Bayern? Like, are you confident or?
Yeah, I think as an actual occasion, I think it's going to be absolutely amazing. Like the crowd's going to be unbelievable. hearing the Champions League anthem for the first time in my lifetime.
Yeah.
What I'll probably, although I know that this is going to be a very difficult game, and I know how good Bayern Munich are, I know the history, I know, that you've smashed Arsenal numerous times. I'd probably say don't underestimate us, because we are a very good team. If any Bayern fans have not watched us against Man City last season at home, we absolutely tore them to shreds. Like, it wasn't sort of like a smash and grab. We played them off the park. We beat Arsenal twice last season, home and away. And like you've touched on, Unai Emery, he always has a plan, and he'll have a plan, and he'll see areas that he wants to try and exploit. So I think, obviously, for Villa, we're underdogs. It's going to be a really difficult game, but I still think we're a good team, basically. And I just think, we've got so many good players. We've got ball carriers such as Morgan Rogers, Jacob Ramsey. Defense, we're a team that play with control and possession, but also we can play on transition and really hurt teams. So, I just hope we play well and we have a good account of ourselves. I don't think any Villa fan will be going, "Oh, we're gonna beat Bayern Munich at home," but I think, it's going to be probably one of the biggest tests we could possibly have. We get tested week in, week out in the Premier League, but it's different playing a big team in the Champions League.
No, I agree. And again, you're going to get those fans. I'm sure you get them on your streams and videos, just idiot fans, to be honest with you, that they're going to be like, yeah, you're going to get smashed against Bayern, and because we're the big name of winning, we're the best in Germany and all of that. You think for some reason people just automatically put us up there with Real Madrid, to the point where it's like, if you go and draw them, for instance, you're all getting squished. Where I know full well that ain't going to happen. Going to Villa Park ain't going to be easy. Like you said, the Man City game, you know what I mean? If you're going toe to toe with them, there's levels, and obviously you rip them apart, but there's levels to it. So I'm me personally, I'm not expecting us to go there. I want to go there and win, don't get it twisted, but I'm not expecting to go there and do an Arsenal and rip them 5-1 or whatever, you know what I mean? Because again, like I said, that manager seems to know our weaknesses, unfortunately. Very, very good manager. I find it interesting with some of your players, though, like player for player. Again, like I said a little bit earlier, you wouldn't necessarily think you've got those type of players, without being too disrespectful, but you've got like one of the better goalkeepers in the world in Emi Martinez. We know how much of a shithouse he is. So I'm sure he'll be up for it. And then, like I said, you got Ian Matson. Is that how you say his name?
Yeah.
That was definitely a player that I was looking, obviously not necessarily buying, but I was looking to get. How was he doing? Because he was brilliant for Dortmund last season.
Well, he can't get in the team at the minute because Luka Dean's playing so well. He's not really playing much. He's coming off the bench and he's impacting games off the bench, but he's certainly not starting games. So he's just another one that's sort of the thing is with Emery. He really utilises his squad. So, we've got a good bench. We've got players that come off and players that come on, and they all impact the game. So, yeah.
No, I'm with you on that one. Again, I obviously mentioned Ollie Watkins. Do you think he is the guy? How do I word this? He's the guy that's gonna. Obviously, all of your players can score. Don't get it twisted. I'm not saying they're rubbish, but like, is he the main focal point for you? Maybe winning the game or getting something out of the game. Do you think
he's integral to our team in the way that we play? So he presses from the front. He will press that defense like anything. Like, he's so good, and he'll be probably backed up by like Morgan Rogers, who's just playing really well for us at the minute. We've got Leon Bailey on the right, who he's sort of injured at the minute, but I think he was on the bench against Young Boys, so he should be back for our weekend game anyway against Wolves. But those three are really good. Midfield, we've got sort of like midfield two with Onana and Tielemans, John McGinn. good player. Pau Torres, ball playing centre half, really crucial for us, passing balls through the lines, gets us going on transition. So yes, it's just going to be interesting how we play. But like you say, we've got some good players that sort of will really want to test themselves and see where they are and how far behind they are, or whether they can compete or not. So I just think, that's where we are.
Yeah, no, I get you 1000%, and I think it's like I said, it's going to be an interesting game. I'm excited for it. It's good to go against another English team that's not a Man City and Liverpool. Like the teams that are in the top six. It's good to actually get a different team, and go against them and, like you said, test yourself, because you may see it as you guys testing yourself, but I want to see if Vincent Kompany, for instance, obviously he just got relegated from the Premier League, which I'll get your opinion on in a minute, but I want to see if he can out-tactic, out-masterclass, whatever you want to say, Unai Emery, who has gone and won big trophies. I think the only trophy he hasn't won, if I'm right by saying, is the big one, is the Champions League, but he's won countless Europa Leagues. Very, very good manager, which you all know yourself. What do you make of Vincent Kompany, though? Because obviously he was really, really good for Burnley to get them up. Obviously they had that fantastic run in the Championship. Then obviously it didn't work in the Prem. He got not sacked. Sorry, he got them relegated, and then obviously he's come to us. But what do you make of it?
I think it's an interesting one, because when they got promoted, he was like this guy that played really attacking football. He was tearing it up. They smashed the Championship. And in the Premier League with Burnley, you can't do that. Like a newly promoted team cannot go into the Premier League and play that way. And everybody was sort of saying, like, he's got to tweak himself a little bit. He's got to tweak the way he plays, but he just didn't. He just kept doing the same way all season, and they ended up getting relegated. So, we know that he can play that brand of football, and obviously with world-class players at Bayern Munich, he's probably going to be able to do that. He won't have to adapt for anything, will he? But you have mentioned like a battle in our game that I do think is going to be really interesting. Is that it's Emery and Kompany. Like, can Emery outsmart Kompany? And I think that's going to be really interesting. Like, if we can take the game into a place that maybe you don't want to go to.
Yeah.
What can he do? And so I think it's going to be really, that battle I think is going to be really interesting, because Emery's, he has got pedigree in Europe. He's won 4 Europa Leagues, and he got Villarreal to the semi-final of the Champions League. So I personally kind of think if he can do that with Villarreal, then he could replicate something similar, with Aston Villa. I'm not saying we're going to get to the semi-final, but I think he'll make us quite competitive. So, like you're saying, I think that battle's going to be really interesting. I mean, has he been tested at the minute, like with any of the games that you've been playing in the Bundesliga, or has it been pretty plain sailing?
I wouldn't say he's been tested yet. I think the test will come against Villa. It will come against Bayer Leverkusen with Xabi Alonso. Coming up soon. That's our 5th Bundesliga game. But there was one game with Wolfsburg where we beat them 3-2. But again, I don't think it's necessarily Kompany. I think it's defensive errors, like I said about the 2 bozos at the back. I think that is the problem that Bayern are having, in the fact that it's not necessarily Kompany. Now, don't get it twisted. Kompany has annoyed me just a tinsy bit, in the fact that obviously we've got João Palhinha. Obviously, you'll know all about him because he was in the Premier League for Fulham, and he hasn't been playing him. So it's a bit of an interesting one. You see clubs that sign players, but does the manager want them? And it's really interesting. One thing I like about Kompany so far, obviously it's really early, but the rotation of players, I like that. Again, a lot of people see him get relegated with Burnley, and they're like, what Bayern Munich doing? We want to win the league again. We want to go and push for the Champions League, so on. But that was one of the things that I had, and I did have the lad from Turfcast on, and he did say he's very stubborn in his ways. But with players that Bayern Munich have, bigger caliber players, like you said, the world class players, he should be able to do it, and he is getting a tune out of them at the moment. But the problem again is that defense. And if he picks that would be one of my main problems is who's he going to pick? Because we've got this thing. We know that Harry Kane's going to play. We know that Jamal Musiala is going to play at some point. Like if it's going to be on the wing, if it's going to be on number 10, whatever, behind Kane. But it is like, is he going to play Polina? Because for me personally, obviously we'll preview the game in a minute, but we need to play Polina against you guys. Like you said, you've got some really, really good midfielders. Obviously, Tielemans can find a pass from anywhere. Like I said, I think he's a wonderful, wonderful player. Onana was another player we were looking at before Polina, or after, shall I say. And then obviously you've got John McGinn, which we all know that he's a shithouse. If any Bayern fan doesn't know, he just is. So, he will stick it straight on Polina. And he has to play, because I don't really want to see us get bullied in the midfield, because yes, we've got Joshua Kimmich, yes, we've got Polina and Pavlovic, but when you look at the names you've got as well, it's a bit of it's not like, oh yeah, Bayern are going to go and dominate the midfield. And I think that game will be won in the midfield. So if we can win that and then push on, obviously with Harry Kane, Musiala, Olise, whatever, that would make me more confident. But yeah, that's the thing that's scaring me at the moment, is the fact that he doesn't play Polina as much. I would have liked him to play the game the other day in the Champions League, but after all, I get that he wanted to push. You guys are going to come at us. You know what I mean? You're not going to go ultra defensive against us and try and hit us on the counter, I wouldn't say. So Polina is definitely going to be a need in this game. That's what I would personally say.
Yeah, it's going to be. I think sometimes some managers sort of. We're seeing it with Emery. You have to learn Emery's way. Like, we signed Yuri Tielemans last summer, and he didn't play for about 6 weeks because he wasn't ready to do what Emery wanted him to do. And then now Dougie Luiz has gone and Tielemans is playing, and Tielemans at the minute is our best player. He's done it with Ross Barkley, like Ian Maatsen. We spent like nearly 36 million on a left back. Now, there's a lot of money to spend on a left back, and he doesn't play for us. He's on the bench.
Yeah.
But he's learning how to play. Like, he got rated in like the Champions League team of the year at left back. So, this is a player that's got pedigree and caliber, but he's still not playing for us. So I don't know. I think some managers sort of just ease them in a little bit, and maybe Kompany's doing the same with Polina.
Yeah. Maybe. You hit the nail on the head. Maybe that is the case, because obviously I'm going to see it from the Bayern point of view of why are we not playing him? Why are we not playing him? But yeah, you're right. Maybe he is easing him in, because Kompany does definitely have a way of playing. People like to compare him to Pep. I understand why they're comparing him to Pep, but I think Pep's more tactical personally. Where Kompany just likes to straight up attack. On Polina and Olise, obviously they were both in the Premier League last season. What do you make of them as signings for Bayern?
Oh, Elise, he's class. He's so good. I mean, who'd you pick, Eze or Elise from Palace? And you've gone with Elise, and yeah, he's just got flair and got a bit of swagger about him. He's just like really relaxed, and when you watch him, it's like he looks like he's not even trying, but he just pops up with an absolute screamer. And yeah, he's such a good player. And another one though, like I think it got mentioned in the press that like players are leaving the Premier League now, and that's not been a thing before. Like, players don't really leave to go to sort of like Germany. Like, that's just never been a thing. And when you were looking at like our best strikers gone, one of our best sort of attackers that play in the Premier League, Elise, is gone. Polina's gone. So, yeah, it's been interesting to see like the players that have been leaving the Premier League. But yeah, Elise is just he's class. I mean, do you rate him? Do you like him?
I had no clue who he was. Generally, I just seen loads of people, mainly Chelsea fans actually, raving about him, like, oh, we need to sign him, so on and so forth. I've seen like clips on YouTube, but you can never go off of that because people obviously clip the best parts of him. But yeah, so far he's done amazing, and I can see why we bought him, and I think it will go down as a bargain personally. Now seeing what he's done, and obviously he was ripping up the Olympics. Unfortunately, they didn't win the football Olympics, but he was ripping that up as well. So yeah, no, I think he's going to be a great player. I can't wait to see what's going to happen with him. And Polina himself, like, I felt a little bit bad for him when the deal did fail with Thomas Tuchel, because, you know, he plays with, you know, Cristiano Ronaldo, Bruno Fernandes, you know, just to name a couple of them, in the Portuguese national team. And then he goes back to Fulham without being too disrespectful. You know, and I feel like he needed that big push. To be fair, I wouldn't say he's at the end of his career, but he probably won't get another big contract. So yeah, no, I'm very happy to have him. And we've needed a 6 since like Javi Martinez, if you can even remember that far back, the Spanish midfielder. So yeah, finally we go and get that player. Moving into the game though, you obviously you've got some games coming up before then. Like you've got, like you said, Wolves. I believe you've got am I right by saying you've got a cup game as well?
Yeah, we've got Wickham in the Carabao, which is like our League Cup. So we've got them, and then we've got Ipswich away, and then we've got you guys.
Yeah, so you know, you've still got some games. Fingers crossed, and I generally am not saying this on purpose or anything, you don't get any injuries, because it would be typical. It'd be same with Bayern as well. We've got a couple of games before you guys, and I want to see like a good clash, put it that way. What would be your way of winning though, as a Villa fan? What do you think?
I think how we play is we want to control games. Mm-hmm. So we possession based football team. We just try and dominate every aspect of it. Obviously, that's going to be quite difficult. So how I'm sort of thinking this game could possibly go is I'm thinking more of like the Man City game, the Arsenal games, the Arsenal game away that we had. And they were both different games, but we were just like, the first game against Man City, we were just unbelievable. Like we just, our passing, our movement, we were really dynamic. We were slicing them open. We nullified them. They couldn't get anywhere near us. And then the Arsenal game that we beat away, we sort of like sat in for a little bit, grew into the game, and then we just started to dominate. So we've got sort of like two styles how we can play with possession, but we can also be like quite fast and direct. And I'm not saying direct with like long balls and that. It's like more like quick, sharp passes, passing to Tielemans, passing to Pau, ball into Watkins, and Watkins is through. So it's going to be difficult how we approach it, but I think I've been watching quite a few games of Emery in the Champions League, especially at Villarreal when he was on that sort of that run. And you know, there was a game against Juventus where he just sat in and he defended and they kept it tight, and then the game just opened up in like 20 minutes and they were 3-0 up. So it's hard to say, because I don't think we've come up against a team like you before, in the sense of a European German side that are like quality. We have played a couple of pre-season games against German opposition, and we lost to Leipzig and we lost to Dortmund. And Emery was really big on sort of just getting used to sort of like that type of style. Now, I know you might play differently, but he did it with like Spanish sides as well in pre-season to sort of just get a bit of a feel for it. So I don't know whether he's learned anything from that or if he can take anything from it. So, I think it's just going to be a bit of an unknown, really, because, like I say, it's hard to judge what we will do because of the opposition.
Yeah, no, I understand where you're coming from. Would you be happy with a draw though in this game? Obviously, a win is
snap your hand off for it. You know, I think where we're looking at, especially in this Champions League, is at best like if we were brilliant through it, we would maybe in and around 8th, 9th, 10th in the big group. But I think the aim is to get to the next stage. So the next stage is going from 9 to 20. Is it 22 or 24? If we get in that, we're in a playoff that gets into the round of 16 then. So, you are our toughest game that we are going to play. So, snap your hand off for a point.
Yeah, no, I can see from your point 100%. And I've literally, while you were talking about what he did with Villa, I was searching up the game, and from the first game at home, obviously you've got totally different players. Obviously Pau Torres is the main one that you brought over from Villarreal, as well as the manager, of course. But they beat us 1-0 at home in Spain. And then from that game, they went to Germany. Obviously, totally different format. Obviously, it's different now. But from that game, then he actually took a point from, well, it's not a point, but draw in the game in Germany as well, which not many teams can come and do. So, yeah, no, he does scare me as a manager. He really does, to go against. And I'm very interested to see if, again, he is, like we said earlier, going to get the better of Bayern. Obviously, we've spoke about if he'll get the better company, which one of those will come out on top. We'll see. Again, I would just ask you about the draw. To be fair, I would take a draw as well. Of course, when you go in with the ego of lifting 11 league titles, obviously just lost this one to Bayer Leverkusen, which should never have happened. And then obviously just the cups and everything, you would say Bayern are going to squish you. But again, like we've said in this, actually having a good conversation rather than being egotistical, it is going to be a good matchup. On your Premier League season, though, if I see, obviously from here, obviously you got Wolves, like you said, you're not doing too bad at the moment. 3 wins and one loss. Are you happy with how the season's going?
Yeah, I mean, when Unai Emery came into Villa, we were pretty much a place outside the relegation zone with Steven Gerrard as our manager. Yes. And within the space of half a season, he took us from there to 7th place, which was Conference League in Europe. And we're a club that's building and growing, and we're trying to become a top 4 club consecutively, season in, season out in the Premier League, which is very difficult because there's some real top teams like Man United, Chelsea, Arsenal, Liverpool, City. Like, this is a very difficult league to get top 4 and close that gap. And I think this season so far, we've continued from last year. So last season we finished 4th, and we're doing pretty well as well. I mean, we've won 3, lost to Arsenal. In my opinion, we shouldn't have lost to Arsenal. We had 2 big chances from Watkins, pretty much open goals, and he missed them both. And at 0-0, if we'd have scored, we probably wouldn't have lost that game. So, yeah, a lot of ifs and buts, but, we're doing well, and Arsenal are one of the best teams in the league at the minute. And again, it's showing that we're still competing with the best teams in the league. So at the minute, we're doing pretty good still.
With the, because if I'm right by saying, you were one of the Aston Villa, not you, sorry, I didn't mean it like that. Aston Villa were one of the teams that are getting financial fair play, if I'm right by saying. Am I right by saying that? I believe it was.
Well, yeah, so basically within the Premier League, you can only lose 105 million over the course of 3 seasons. Okay. And we were like close to this line of going over it. If you go over it, then you get investigated, you get points deductions, you get points deductions. So we had to make sure that we were like very close, because a bit brief, what's happened with Villa is basically 5 years ago, we were in the Championship, which is the division below the Premier League. And in 5 years, we've been able to go from that division straight up to now the Champions League. And over the course of that time, the 5/6 years, we've had to rebuild the whole club. And obviously we've spent money to do so. And the Premier League now have just got these PSR rules that sort of protect the top six. So the big six is what they call in the Premier League, the ones that have the most revenue, that bring in the most money. Clubs like Villa, who are trying to get to that level, we can't just spend what we want. We have to go by these little restrictions. So for Villa to get to the top Champions League last season was a massive achievement, because we're displacing one of those big six clubs. So but yeah, we didn't break the rules. That's why we sold Douglas Luiz, and we're pretty much okay now.
Yeah. That was going to be my next question, because like obviously people will say boo hoo, but like you guys having to, if I'm right by saying you had to stay away from what you just said, you had to sell Douglas Luiz.
Yeah.
So you sold your quote unquote best player, yet you've got Man City out here, spending whatever the hell they want.
Yeah.
So what do you make of selling Douglas Luiz? Because like you said, he was one of your better players.
Yeah, we all knew that a player had to leave. So by knowing that a player had to leave, it's which one leaves. Now, we don't want it to be our top goal scorer. We don't want it to be our goalkeeper who's won the World Cup. We don't want it to be Pau Torres. He was the one that probably could be more easily replaced. And lo and behold, we'd signed Yuri Tielemans on a free last summer, and he's slotted in now, and he's just playing really, really well. So I think it was unfortunate that he had to leave, but somebody had to leave. So, it's frustrating that's what we had to do. But, we're not a club that are going to like break the rules or try and just do it and see what happens. Nottingham Forest got a points deduction. Everton got a points deduction. So yeah, it was just important that we sort of like towed the line.
Yeah. No, I'm with you. Because do you think you'd be doing even better if you still did have him? Or do you think?
No, I don't think so. I think we'd be the same. I mean, Emery as a manager, he's great. Like he's predominantly got some of the same players that Gerrard had got when we were like near the bottom of the league, and Emery's come in and coached them and improved every single one of them. So what he can do with the players is he can get a lot out of the players, which is just remarkable, really. Like we signed this player called Morgan Rogers from Middlesbrough in January, and he was doing okay with Middlesbrough, and now if you've watched some of his highlights of how he's playing this season, he was unplayable against Arsenal. Like Declan Rice, he couldn't get anywhere near him, and Declan Rice is just one of the best players in the Premier League. So this is a kid that was signed from the division below, and Emery's able to just really improve them all.
Yeah, no, I get you. What do you make of? It's definitely off topic, but obviously you sold Jack Grealish a couple seasons ago. Was that a hard pill to swallow? That one?
Oh, mate, that's a low point. That's a low point in the Villa fan base, because he was a Villa fan.
Yeah,
and he'd been with Villa for years, and he was Villa. For the years that Grealish played for Villa, it was Grealish FC. Pass the ball to Grealish. Grealish will dribble past everybody. Grealish will score. And when he left, because we knew that he was literally like the best player, everybody just passed to him. Seeing that light of where we can go after that was, heartbreaking. And to see a player that you've watched pretty much all through his career to get to the point of being in the Premier League, he's like so difficult, and you're bitter, you don't like him for a year. I didn't want him to win anything, and then when he won something, I was like, okay, I like him again now. Like I wish him all the best now, but it just hurt a little bit because he was like one of our own, and he was such a good player. And I just wish him well now. He was a brilliant player, to be fair.
Yeah, definitely. I think he's the most fouled player, from what I'm saying, in the Premier League, which in itself is so stupid, isn't it? Because he's not ridiculously fast or anything. You'd think he'd be blazing past people like Adama Traore was at one point. But yeah, very, very technical. On Unai Emery though, is he being, obviously we spoke about FFP, but is he being backed
Yeah.
are you like with your owners and so on?
Yeah, I mean, what the situation is with him is that
Mhm.
he's got the keys to Aston Villa,
Okay.
and he's building this sort of like revolution at Villa. We've got all his staff in. We've got Monchi, his sporting director. We've invested in Unai Emery's Spanish football team, Real Union. I think they're playing like the third or second tier of Spanish football. So we've invested in that team as well. He signed a new contract as well in the summer. So I think it sees into 2029, I think, or 2028. I think it's 2029. So he's just signed a new deal. And I think he's really wanted to like succeed in the Premier League. Obviously, his Arsenal time was not the best for him, but he's really come back and delivered, really.
Yeah, because obviously when Thomas Tuchel was let go and they didn't sign him on a new deal, there was talks. And when I say talks, obviously paper talk, you all know this yourself. You know, there's so many players being rumoured, this, that, blah, blah, blah. He was one of the managers that we were quote unquote looking at. But now that you've just said what you've just said in the fact that like they're trying to build with him and so on and so forth, now it makes sense of why he would want to leave. Like, don't get it twisted. If he got like a ridiculous offer, I'm sure we would have to buy him off of you. But in that sense, you could see why he didn't want to leave, or why there was not even a thing. Because I believe one of our higher ups did speak about Unai Emery, just saying like there was a reason why we didn't go for him, and I'm guessing from what you just said that is the reason. Because like I said, wonderful manager. He might not be at the quote unquote top 6 teams, but he's doing really, really good. And again, we're talking for a reason, it's not. This isn't for a friendly game. I mean, this is in the Champions League, even though it's a bit of a different format. So, I'm going to go through the comments, and then, if you don't mind, I want to do a combined 11, which will be interesting.
Okay.
Yeah, so let's go through some of these. Big up Liam and you TV. Big up Zia. How you doing? I'm just going to go through some of them because I think people are still watching football. I see some people putting scores in. Smash the thumbs up, people. Please do. Thank you very much. And also go over and hit the subscribe button to UTV if you haven't already. They're smashing over there, so please do. Okay, Villa looks solid. Definitely going to be a challenge playing against Emery tactics. 100%. Getting Villarreal flashbacks low. Yeah, exactly. Literally exactly. We've got a Juventus fan in here saying we've got to play Villa too. Yep. That actually, while I'm just going through these comments, what's it going to be like going against Douglas Luiz? Is that going to be weird?
Yeah, proper weird. But the weird thing is he can't get in the team at the minute, can he? He's been on the bench for a lot of it. So it's going to be because he came the season that we got promoted to the Premier League. So he was on that whole journey with us of like getting into the Premier League, surviving. Gerrard, Unai comes in, Conference League, qualified for Champions League, and then he's left. So he's been on like a massive journey with Villa. So it's gonna be weird seeing him not in a Villa kit.
Yeah, and I'm sure, especially with the way the English media do it, and obviously it's the Champions League, but I'm sure they're going to be, even if he's on the bench, they're going to be literally, the camera's going to be on him. Obviously, like you said, he's been with you for a while. As good as we are going forward, I'm worried about Kim and Upamecano against Villa's front line. 110%. Love the picture as well. Had to be Ronaldo, didn't it? Evening. Hopefully you're doing well, mate. Big up to you. Thank you for coming over. I generally think Kim and Upamecano are the worst pairing in Europe. Yes, I'm with you on that one. I'm with you on that one. Is Neuer back for Saturday? I think so. I think it was just a precautionary thing. Well, let's put it this way: he better be back for the Villa game, because I don't want sponge hands in goal for Ollie Watkins will have a field day. He might have a field day anyway against our defense, but we need to have the wall in goal, because if not, that's going to be a scary one. I don't know what Neuer was doing, but he basically you know what the way Neuer plays, he likes to come out, be a psychopath. He jumps over the players, over one of their players, does like a bicycle kick and lands funny. So we took him off, and that's one of the reasons again why we conceded 2 goals. But yeah, hopefully he's playing. Fingers crossed. Anyway, imagine that style of play versus City that you guys played versus us. Hella interesting, but I don't want to see that versus Dumb and Dumber at the back. Yes, 100%, mate. I'm with you on that one. Emi Martinez, the world's #1. It's going to be interesting in a minute because obviously I don't know you very well, so I want to know if you're going to be very stubborn with thingy. We'll go through that in a second. What's this? Emery is a world-class manager. It's not even a debate. Yep. No, I'm not going to debate it with you, mate. I'm not going to debate it with you. I'm with you on that one. Right. I think that's most things. He tried to win a header. Yeah, he tried to win a header. And then, yeah, like I said, he did literally collides with the player and does like an overhead kick. But that's just Neuer being Neuer, to be perfectly honest with you. Right. If I go to this screen and then I present the lineup builder. What formation do you guys normally play?
4-4-2.
4-4-2. So we normally play a 4-2-3-1. So it's kind of similar. Right. Let's go. Right. Goalkeeper. What are we thinking, mate?
Right. You're gonna have to let me have 1 or 2, I think. So I'll make a case for Martinez, and then you can probably counter. Currently, as things stand, Martinez is technically the world's best goalkeeper because he won the Yashin Trophy, which is basically the Ballon d'Or version for goalkeepers. He won that sort of like from this period. World Cup winning goalkeeper. He's just class, mate. So I think on that, he needs some respect, and he's kept that many clean sheets for Argentina. He's won the Copa America. He's won the World Cup. Got Villa in the Champions League. I think we've got to go Martinez. If you go Neuer, I think you should go with the other goalkeeper and then let me have Martinez.
See, I'm 1000% going Neuer, but I do understand what you've just said. So I will let my ego go because Martinez is very, very good, and I'll put Martinez in.
Thank you.
But I need to click the wrong one then. But yeah, no, for me personally, I always say Neuer over everyone. I still think Neuer is the best keeper in the world, but that's because we've had him for so long, obviously.
Yeah,
and he's revolutionized. Is that how you say that word? The goalkeeping game. Like Alisson and Edison are what they are because of him. So it's fine. The thing is, you say let me get 1 or 2, bro. You're going to be getting the centre backs because our centre backs are trash. So let's put it that way. But yeah, no, that's fine. That's fine. If we go, I just want to go over to your lineup because okay, cool. Right back. Who is your right back?
So we've got Matty Cash, Bogard, and I'm going to say you're having this one because that's probably our weakest position at right back. Right back is definitely where we probably should have recruited in the summer, but we didn't. So, that's definitely an area that we struggle with at times. But sometimes what we will do and what we did in the bigger games is we put Conser at right back and we play Diego, Carlos and Pau. So we sometimes do that against we did that against Man City and Arsenal last season, and it worked. So, So I think I know you're going to put it right back, so you can slot him in there, mate.
Big up to Scripted Date. How you doing, mate? Yeah, that's what I'm thinking, Zia. That's what I'm thinking. Obviously, everyone's saying Kimmich. I get it.
Yeah.
But, I clicked the wrong thing. I clicked injured. I did not mean to do that. But I'm thinking Bowie. That's the only thing. We'll put Kimmich in there. We're not going to put Stanisic anywhere near this team because he's injured. I want it to be like a relevant one. But yeah, we'll put Kimmich in there for now. Because obviously Company has been playing him more in the centre mid, but he can still play there. Centre back wise, so Pau Torres is going in. That doesn't even need to be a debate.
And we've got Ezri Konsa, who is very underrated. He 1v1 defending, he's probably one of the best in the Premier League. So when he goes to right back and he comes up against wingers, he wins every single duel. He played for England against Brazil, and honestly, he had Vinny Jr. in his back pocket. He didn't get a sniff all game when he played at right back for England. So he's our those are our two centre halves. So Pau Torres and Ezri Konsa, and they're both really good.
Obviously, you will watch Konsa way more than I watch him. What do you think of him over Mancano, though? Because Kim Min-jae hasn't hit it. The Napoli Kim Min-jae that we brought in just hasn't hit the mark. So would you still put Konsa in over Mancano? What do you think?
I think so, yeah. I mean, Konsa's amazing for us, ball playing centre half. Like I say, literally wins majority of his duels. He's just a really, really solid, underrated defender. So, yeah, they've got a good partnership.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. And I think this is the most. I don't think depressing is the right word, but if we had de Ligt, I don't think you would necessarily. Would you still put Konsa in over de Ligt? What do you think, personally? Because obviously he's not doing the best for Man United. I know he's scored. But
I probably would put him in ahead of him as well. Yeah.
Okay, interesting one. Again, obviously, you guys can let me know in the comments that's the whole reason it's there. Oh, there we go. Konsa is an absolute Rolls Royce. Well, there we go. That confirms it again. Upamecano is an interesting one. I like to say on the channel here all the time that I generally think he's the modern day Paul Pogba. If you'll remember this in the fact of being a Premier League fan, Paul Pogba would go to Man United and stink the joint up, but then he goes over to France and he is a Rolls Royce. I feel like for France, Upamecano is amazing. For Bayern, not so much, which is really frustrating, to be honest with you. And exactly like you said, his quality for France is just not for Bayern, which is typical. Left back, obviously you've got Luca Digne, haven't you? And you've got Ian Mattison. We have got number 19, I like to call him. I'll call him Alphonso Davies just in case you don't get it. Absolute virus at this club. I couldn't stand him, and I want him to literally rip his contract up, because he's just not respecting us whatsoever. And it's like, fair enough. If you want to go to Real Madrid, I understand, but just come out and say my favorite move or my dream club is Real Madrid. I want to leave. Done. Like, everyone can accept that. It's going to be horrible because we lost Toni Kroos, and look what he's gone and done in his career with Real. But like the way he's doing it, he's just been silent in the media. His form has been dreadful since 2020 when he was probably the best left back. So who would you, like, from your perspective, who would you put in? Because I can't stand Alphonso Davies. I think he's a virus, but I'll give it to you because you're not going to see it from my point.
I'd probably go Alphonso Davies.
Good. Okay.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, whenever I've seen him, he's been class. You know what I mean? So obviously, I don't watch a week in, week out, but over the years, he's like been tearing it up.
Right. Okay. So then we go into the midfield again. It's obviously an interesting one because would you put Paulinho in over any of your midfielders?
No.
Okay, interesting.
No.
Because obviously Company hasn't been playing him, and we haven't seen the best. The best of him is still in his Fulham days or in Portugal. So yeah, Pavlovic and Paulinho. But the problem is though, Zia, is the fact that they've Villa in them, they've got really good midfielders. Obviously this is the double pivot we're talking about. Jamal Musiala's getting in this team. There ain't no if buts or maybes about it. I think both of us can say that.
Yeah.
So who would you put in if you had to pick out your because you've got three midfielders, haven't you? You normally play.
So we play with Onana and Tielemans as a 2, and then on the left we'd have like Jacob Ramsey, and on the right we'd maybe have like McGinn or Bailey. So those are the options out there that we've got. I would want to caveat to put Onana in there. I think Onana would be good in this team.
Okay, so who's partnering next to him? Is it going to be Tillmans? Is it going to be McGinn? What are you thinking? I would personally like Pavlovic,
Yeah,
but at the same
I'd,
time, it's an iffy one because like he had his really good season last season, where we did see like really good parts of his game, but we were playing a horrible defensive game in Thomas Tuchel ball, which I don't even want to think about that, to be honest with you. So I would like Pavlovic in, but I do understand if you want Tillmans.
I'd put him in that sort of like 2 with Onana.
You would? Okay.
Yeah.
No. I don't know why they don't have his face. He's faceless, apparently. Right, then there's not really going to be a debate here, I don't believe, from you. So we'll just put Jamal in straight away, and that is normally where he plays. I would like him. I really would hope Company starts watching Germany because him on the left is just different. But hey-ho, it is what it is. Right. Before we go on to the left and the right, obviously Harry Kane, like, are you gonna debate it with me or no?
I can't really, mate. He scores loads of goals, don't he? So and he scores more than Watkins, so I think you've got to go Kane.
I like Ollie Watkins. I think generally when Kane was I'll say this generally, I'm not just saying it because you're in here, everyone will know this. When Kane was stinking up the joint for England, I was saying take him out of this team. Why is Southgate still not playing a different, like, even if it was Tony or Watkins, and obviously Watkins got that winning goal, but like why we weren't, literally Kane was stinking it up, and I was saying it myself, and I love Kane. So yeah, but okay, fair enough. Right, who are we putting in this team then? Because realistically, Gnabry's been good at this moment in time, but again, he hasn't been the 2020 Gnabry, not yet. Leroy Sané's half-season wonder. Kingsley Coman's good, but I think he's basically done with the club. He doesn't seem himself. So I wouldn't put any of them guys in. You've got Bailey, which he normally does well against Bayern, which is very annoying. So who would you like? The only one I would put personally is Olise, but let me know what you think.
Yeah, I would go with Bailey on the right. I think Bailey last season was exceptional for Villa goals. I think on his day, he's somewhat unplayable at times. So I think Bailey would be a definite for me. He's probably one of our best players. And then obviously we've only got one position left, but I don't think you'll put him in there, but I'd say Morgan Rogers. And what I would say is that if anyone hasn't watched Morgan Rogers this season, have a look at who Morgan Rogers is. And then, you'll find out that he's a really good player. But he's probably quite unknown to you guys.
Okay. One question straight away. Can Bailey play on the left?
He doesn't for Villa.
Damn it. That was my hope. I was going to, scoot him across. I just can't like.
Who would you put on the right? Who have you got on the right?
That would be where I put Olise personally.
Really?
Yeah, because unless we put Serge Gnabry in there, he has been good recently. Who normally, other than Morgan Rogers, obviously I'm just taking your word for it. I have no clue about him. Who else have you got? Is that his position now?
No, so he's Morgan Rogers' position's in behind Watkins. We've got Jacob Ramsey who plays on the left.
Okay. Why don't we then put him?
You go with the left. I think you have the left. I think you've got to have more players than Villa because you're obviously elite. Do you know what I mean?
But this is why you needed to come on the channel, because I'm not egotistical like these fans. I'm fine with giving you the player. So what I'll do is I'll put this guy over here, and then who did you say? Morgan Rogers, is it? I don't. Yeah. Be on here. You better be on here. It would be good if I could spell his name.
So it's Rogers.
ROG. Have I spelled it wrong again? So
ROG ERS.
Yeah, it's not going to be on here, is he? Stupid database, man. Okay. Well, we're going to leave it plain, but that's his position.
Okay.
Right. No, now I need to drag Jamal Musiala back. Crap. Right. Give me. Right. Let me just move him. Put in Sane, for instance. Drag Sane back over here, and then you can get out of this team because he's crap. And then Jamal Musiala on the left. I want Jamal on the left personally.
Yeah. Okay.
But yeah, I'd give you that. Like people are saying Muller, I 100% understand Muller, but I just don't think he's going to be an impact into this team. That's generally what I would say. And again, people, let's be realistic here. Yeah, who beat? Like we didn't have Harry Kane, but who beat us in that Villarreal game? Unai Emery did. So let's not be too egotistical with it, you know. And that's coming from someone that likes to shit on Mbappe all the time. So yeah, big up to everybody. That would be the lineup. Morgan Rogers is in the damn middle, but for some reason this database doesn't have him, which is just totally typical. But yeah, big up to everyone. Hopefully, guys have enjoyed. Let's see what people are saying. Yeah, Bailey is quality. Yep, most definitely. As a United fan, Rogers is quality, but there we go. Okay. Someone said Watkins on the left wing. Interesting.
Watkins wouldn't like
that. Yeah, it'd be like Harry Kane's taking it for England, and now he's
it'd be
taking
fuming. Yeah.
Olise on Muller. Who are we taking? Okay, interesting. You're dropping Olise? No, mate. This is a combined 11. You know, if this was going to be a combined 11 from the Bayern View, then we'd probably have half of our players in there. And that's the whole point of getting Luke on to give his opinion. So yeah, big up to everybody. But yeah, right. Let me go back to this one. Any final thoughts on this? I know I've gone a little bit over.
No, just been great chatting to you, mate.
Yeah, no, 100%. And obviously we'll come together again to make the content going forward. Obviously with the whole now someone's saying, can we play Bailey in the middle? Right, let me end the stream, please. But yeah, no, thank you for coming on, mate. We'll obviously be in touch with obviously when the game comes up.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's been good chatting to you and actually learning more about Villa, because straight away all I see is Unai Emery. You know, you got Martinez, Ollie Watkins. You know what I mean? Why did Unai Emery not want to come to Bayern Munich, for instance? That's the reason to get you on, because you just told me why. So yeah, big up to you, mate. Hopefully you guys are all doing well. And yeah, until then, peace, people. Peace.
Cheers.